Hello, my loves. It is Lala Kent. Welcome to the Give Them Lala podcast. I have the OG of the OC, the queen of freaking insurance, Vicki Gunvalson. Hi, Gorge.
Hi, honey. I used to be the queen of Bravo, but my crown got off and got a little tilted. So
I think you're still the queen of Bravo, and you got that award at BravoCon.
That was cool. That was really very emotional for me because I was not expecting it to be so emotional. You know, I did my speech and everything like 2 minutes before I went up, and I was so grateful and thankful. But it was emotional because I was like, "Is this my goodbye tour, or is this starting another adventure?" I didn't really know.
I feel like I watched something on Hulu, and it was Meghan King who was on Real Housewives of OC, and she said that reality TV is kind of like a drug. And that was, I mean, I've never done drugs. However, if you compared it to like a buzz with alcohol, totally get it.
Yeah.
Is that how you feel?
Yeah. So my manager at the time years ago out in New York said, fame is like a drug and you want more of it, even though you know it's bad for you. So that's how I correlated. I mean, you and I have gone through hell and back doing reality TV, but I correlate that because I loved it. I loved doing it until I didn't. Until then it was become toxic. And then you go back to loving it again. And it was this yo-yo of I was only good as the last episode. And then now how did it going to turn out? So
I relate to that a lot. I feel like you said you're only as good as your last moment on TV. Do you feel like your last moment on TV? Do you feel like you went out with a bang, or do you wish that you could have changed things?
Well, I never really knew that my last time filming was going to be my last time. I think this is my first season that I haven't gotten the phone call saying, come back as a friend or come back as a part-timer. So I guess that's my new normal now. I'm not friends with Tamra anymore, which is fine. And I'm friends with everybody else, so that's good. But
do you feel like you guys can repair?
No, you know what? I relate to relationships as birds of a feather flock together. So if you are a kind person and a loving person and want the best for other people, you can hang with them even though there's a fight. But when you see situations that I've seen for the last 2 years of how she treats people, it wasn't me, it was other people. I was only going to be next. So, you know, it's a target that she goes after, and that's her quote unquote reality of how she's going to be a villain on these shows. I don't want to be around it. It's toxic. It's angry. It's swearing. It's calling people a C word. It's gross to me. And I have a respectful business of 35 years. I mean, some of my clients have come in here and said, are you friends with that Tamra? And now I can say no, because before I was defending her. Oh, it's just TV. But people can see through that. Like, is that her heart? And is that who she really is? And she doesn't have to worry about it. She's getting paid a lot of money to do that. I have a business that I have to go to every single day, regardless of I'm filming a reality TV show. And I don't want to ever say, yeah, she's my best friend. We hang out together. And yeah, she calls people the C word. And yeah, she's throwing napkins in people's faces. And I don't want to be around it. My daughter was like, Mom, what are you doing? You're embarrassing yourself, you know? And I'm like, I didn't do it. I was a victim of it, or I was in on it, or it's too much angry. And Lala, we have a big life, like you and I and your brother.
Hey.
Anybody that's been on a show for as long as I have, you take that, the good and the bad, but she's the only person that I don't want to film with. Like, I've filmed with others and we've gotten to fight and we recover, but she just doesn't. And then all of a sudden she's back at the next episode. She's like, hi, how are you? Like, I'm not good. You know?
Not well, bitch.
Not well, bitch. So that's the decision I made. She never got mad at me. We never got in a fight, but the way she treated Shannon last year after her DUI was disgusting. And Shannon's my friend, and I just had to make a stance for who I want to hang with.
Right. And I think Tamra, I mean, I think many people enjoy watching her because you know the drill. Even though people hate watch. That's what they do. They love to see chaos. It takes them out of their norm and their reality, and it gives them something to go back and forth about online. And I just wonder, like, when you first signed on to this show, it was totally different. It was just, I mean, and you were one of the only you were the first housewife ever. And you actually went to a job every single day.
Yep.
What was it like having that and then going, okay, I'm gonna open my life to cameras? Were you scared?
Of course, and we only filmed 4 weeks, and it was with a handy cam. So this is 19 years ago when you weren't even born yet. So you got to think, like, I was 42 and going to be 43 at the time. I'm 62 now. It sucks.
You look so fucking good, Vicki.
I didn't know that. You look amazing.
I do not want to be 62, but it's happening. I'm like, hello, are you sure that driver's license number is the same with my birth certificate? It sucks because it goes lickety-split so fast. But 2 decades I was on, and then season 3 she came on, and we became budsy-wudsy until all of a sudden I saw her like throw the wine in Gina Keogh's face, who was a friend of mine.
What did she say? This is a assist and deceased?
Yeah, I'm like, she doesn't know how to speak. So I was like, what is going on here? So I took my producer aside. I said, what's going on? He goes, just go with it. Like, do your normal reaction. I'm like, was she set up to do this, or what is going on? This is not my show. And it just spiraled. I think when Teresa flipped the table and all the other housewives came on, and I created a show about showing our lifestyle, being a mother, cooking dinner at night, raising my kids, going through a marriage that was going to be and eventually divorced, and all the reality, and then me working and juggling, and me in the limo, typing away, selling insurance online because I had to keep the lights on and work. There was no podcast and social media at the time. So I saw the evolution of the whole franchise of all the housewife shows. It was like they had to step it up one more, step it up another. Like, who's getting the most ratings? The ones that are fighting. And like, I'm like, that's not me. I don't fight with people. If you want to fight with me, I'm probably going to exit out. I'm not shy of fighting, but I don't go into an episode going, okay, I'm going to call her out on this. I don't give a shit who she's dating. I don't give a shit who everybody's doing, but she wants to like dig into people's personal lives, and maybe they don't want that on TV. So I'm sure she can find shit on me all day long, or you, or anybody. That's not what I wanted this show to be about.
Right. Because I do this thing where I go back, and Easton knows, I go back and watch old school episodes of the franchise. And right now I'm on OC, and that was before Gretchen was even announced. So I just happened to do this. And now, everyone's very excited going back, watching old episodes.
Right.
And I loved the drama was so different. It was about like your son getting a tattoo, not your son.
Right.
The storylines. And then, you guys, exactly. It was so lighthearted.
Well, it was real life and not forced, like.
Less produced?
Yes, in my opinion, because you've been on my TV for the past. Yeah, just because that's all this one watches is just Housewives. So you've been on the TV, but like seeing the production then and now, it seems like it was so free flowing and just happy, and it was about your life. And now it's the way it looks, and even with you, the way when I've been on, they're like, so this is what we're gonna kind of steer towards talking.
Right. And they give you a little bit of direction. It's like we're talking about your sobriety and I get that, and I love a produced show, but there was something very special about watching you go into the office and do your interviews day of on site.
I know. And I didn't have hair and makeup at the time. It looked like it.
Didn't need it, baby.
I didn't have, oh, Easton, you're so cute. And I didn't have, wardrobe person. It was like, you want to come film me? They'd say like, what are you doing this week? I'm like, I'm working. Like, what do you mean? What am I doing? I'm working, and I'm taking Brianne to the prom, or I'm picking up Michael from school. Like, no, I'm working. So that's what I thought this was going to be about. Now, when Kathleen French, I don't know if you know Kathleen French, used to sit us down and say, what you got going on for the next year? I'm like, I'm just going to be living life. I'm going to be going to the river. I'm going to go to work, and then I'm going to film a reality show. And I have no idea what my reality is. I had no idea my mom was going to die while I was filming on set at Shannon's house. And they held that back for an hour and a half while my daughter kept trying to call me. Nana died. My mom was perfectly healthy. And, they shocked me with that shit. So how can I ever say to Kathleen French, well, this season I'm going to get a divorce and my mom's going to die while I'm filming?
Can
No,
I tell you, Vicki, still to this day, that scene of you getting that call is the most gut-wrenching thing that I have ever watched in my life.
it was, and I still my mom. We just celebrated 10 years yesterday. My mom was an incredible mother. She was never sick. She got her hair done that morning, gets her nails done. She bowled, she played bridge. She's very active. She's like perfectly healthy. She never took medicine. And I talked to her. I'm like, I'm going to Shannon's. We're going to play bunco. She goes, are you still hanging around those girls? They're so nasty to you. And I'm like, everything's fine. We're going to do bunko.
Protective mama.
Mama bear.
We're going to go home. And then I got the call. She died. She laid on her bed and died. And we have no idea why or how. So those things happen when you're filming a reality show. And I never knew, obviously, she was going to die, but we're all going to die. But those are the things that are real. And I don't understand now why the show it's gotten so dirty and so mean. And I don't know, now they're going to sit with the girls. This season's just starting and saying, what is it going to be filming about this year? Well, I'm going to, Shannon, get a DUI. She had no idea,
Right.
So it's just got
life happens.
Mm-hmm.
And then
it does get weird. And then you're living in this reality and you kind of work through things. And then it's for everyone to then go and judge and see their interpretation on an edited cut.
Yeah.
And I can understand where there may be a part of you that's like, I'm okay that I'm not in the mix like that anymore. Because it's not like you need the paycheck. Like you got a real life career.
I do need the paycheck, but the numbers that I was getting was very large. But I mean, everybody, more money the better, right? So
of course,
God, I didn't quit my real job, because a lot of times they would say, you can't do both. I'm like, you're filming my reality. I'm the one that works and saves and does an Excel spreadsheet every time I get paid. So I pay state and federal that day. And the other girls are like, oh my God, I owe so much money. I'm like, what'd you do when you were getting it? Didn't you pay that day?
Right.
They're a 1099 income. And so I would try to teach them a little class about paying the taxes you get the day you get paid. And it's not your money. Half of it's gone.
Exactly. The first thing when I started making, my little pennies and collecting them is I brought on a business manager. And that was always so strange to me because he's like, this is the amount. But remember, we're taking this much away and putting it away for taxes.
Half away.
Give Them Lala is brought to you by Insurify. Finding car insurance can be really stressful. I never know if I'm paying too much for coverage. And as a single mom of two, I want to make sure my family is protected as best as possible whenever we get in the car. And that's where Insurify comes in. Insurify is an insurance comparison site that has dozens of top insurers competing for your business, which can drive prices down. Insurify lets you compare real-time quotes from dozens of top insurers, including names you know and trust. And the entire process is handled completely online, so no annoying phone calls and no ridiculous fees ever. And with Insurify, you can get insurance coverage in as little as 10 minutes. That's so fast. Your data is always safe with Insurify. They'll never sell your information, so you can shop with confidence. With over a decade of experience and an excellent star rating from Trustpilot, it's no wonder why Insurify has thousands of happy customers all over the country. So get to Insurify.com to compare car insurance quotes in real time and start saving today. That's Insurify.com. Insurify.com. Average potential savings based on initial quotes received by 183,234 customers seeking insurance through Insurify. Actual savings may vary depending on state of residence, individual circumstances, coverage selections, and insurance provider. Savings results are not guaranteed.
Why insurance? What drew you to insurance?
Well, I was 28 at the time, and I was getting divorced with my first husband. I had Michael and Brandon with my first husband, and my girlfriend sold me a life insurance policy on Mike, my first husband.
Okay.
I was like, how much did you make? She's like, $600. I'm like, you signed a couple papers, and I signed a couple papers, and you made $600, and I got to work at my dad's construction company. I was doing his accounts payable and receivable.
Where was this?
Illinois.
What state? Illinois. Okay.
Yeah. So, like Barrington, Illinois. So when I asked Laura, like, what do you have to do this? Like, I can sign papers all day long. I'll work during the day for my dad and then I'll sell insurance at night. And she's like, well, why don't you go get licensed? So you take a class online or you go to a school and you take a test and you pass the test, which I did. And then her company that she was working for at the time was Western Southern Life Insurance in Elmhurst, Illinois. And it was a debit business. And they had all men, and they sat at these desks, and you would go out in the field and then come back with your applications, and you'd go to the whiteboard and you'd write how many you wrote for the week. And I'm like, I'm going to sandbag them. I am not going to tell everybody how much I sold for the week. And I had the territory of Cabrini Green. And if you know Chicago, you don't want a territory of Cabrini Green.
Okay.
It's very dark, and a white woman in a, in a nicer car. I was always afraid I was going to come off, the wheels were going to be off, or I was going to be mugged or killed. So back then we had pagers. We didn't even have cell phones. This is how young I was, and how old time and how fast time goes. So anyway, fast forward, I was really starting to get the hang of this, and I was in competition with all these men who were fine making $30,000 a year. And I had a babysitter pay for on my new condo after I divorced my husband. I didn't get child support. So I was like, oh my God, I got to sell more than these guys. And how are they supporting their families? Well, their glass ceiling was low. They were good at $30,000 for the rest of their life. And I'm like, F that. Right. I'm going to make $50,000, and I'm going to go out and buy a brand new car, and I'm going to show my boss, Mark Menaker, that I can do this. He's like, I pulled up in this car. He said, what are you doing? You can't afford this. I said, watch me. You dress for success always, regardless. Okay. So I dressed for success by the car I was driving, by the driveways I pulled up in. I was selling insurance. There was no online selling. It was press hard, 3 copies. And all of a sudden I was like, this is my career, because I can be there for my kids. I quit my dad's construction, accounts payable and receivable. I was doing their payroll and stuff. And I was 28, you guys. I no clue how.
That's a baby. That is a baby.
A baby. And I had
with 2 kids.
Yeah, they were 5 and 6 at the time.
Wow.
And I was like, no child support. My ex at the time was working for my dad, and he quit. So he's never worked since. And so I went into insurance by default, because it was a way for me to support my kids without, I don't have a 4-year degree. I've got a 3-year degree. I went into finance. And then I got my license. So once I could do that, I went into this full speed. I got all my continuing educations. I went into all the tutorials. I went into YouTube's. So everything I did was learn. And 34 years later, it's not that I love it. It's an opportunity for me to live the life I want, which is very flexible. I have 2 houses in Puerto Vallarta, paid for cash.
Amazing.
Congratulations on that.
My house in Costa de Casa. So I'm responsible. And by the way, both of you save more than you ever think you're going to ever have to save. And I would recommend, don't pay your quarterlies, pay the day you get paid.
Okay.
I don't recommend quarterlies, because now you're getting, paid, and then you got to pay this big chunk, and it's been sitting in the savings making nothing. It doesn't matter. Get it off the books. So get it off the books. Now you know what you have net for the month, or
I do love that.
Yeah, I do. I'm glad
so
that.
I don't push the IRS and the state, because the IRS is, if you're making, over $389,000, I'll get my chart out.
Yes, educate us, Vicki.
Well, let me tell you.
What the schools don't teach.
They should be teaching this.
You, as your tax summary guide, we have the new one that just came out for 2025. If you are single, making more than from 501,000 to 751,000, you're paying 35% federal, plus our state 10 to 12. So 45% of the money goes away. It's not your money. You get $10,000, 45% goes away, $4,500. That's your net.
Yes.
So if you're fortunate enough to make over 751,000, now you're paying 37. So 37% of your portfolio or your money goes away. I have never paid interest or penalties to the IRS. Why? Because my dad told me not to. And so he's been dead for 20 years. I never want to disappoint him. So I just pay it off.
I love this.
I go on the FTB, the Federal Tax Board, and I go into the IRS.gov, and I just suck it out of my account.
Did we just all have mad knowledge dropped on us?
I was in school that I actually
No, like you should be teaching a course, because these are the things that they need to teach in school.
My Housewives girls, but they don't listen to me.
You know what though? That's very true. They did not listen to you. They should have. But
then they go, I use my next season's paycheck to pay these year's taxes. I go, what the hell? What if you don't get asked back?
Oh, I'm going to have a heart attack.
No, it's crazy shit.
No,
And
it
then
is
they got
crazy
penalties
shit.
and interest. Now they're paying 55% or 60% on the money that they made.
I'm going to throw up.
As a single mama of 2 baby girls, I am very concerned about all of the chemicals that are in some of these products. It seems like everything has so many unnecessary chemicals in them. I was really surprised to learn that the laundry detergent that I've been using is one of the worst offenders. Every wash was leaving behind this harsh chemical residue that I didn't even know about. And I definitely don't want that for Sosa or Ocean, actually any of us. That's why I made the switch to Earth Breeze laundry sheets. They don't have those harsh chemicals like dyes, parabens, phosphates, and preservatives. And I feel so much better knowing that I'm not exposing my family to those unnecessary toxins. So if you want a gentler clean, switch to Earth Breeze. Right now, you can get 40% off with your subscription at earthbreeze.com/Lala. That's earthbreeze.com/Lala.
Did Michael ever stick with being an insurance, what do you call it? An insurer?
A broker. He's 18
A broker.
years. Yeah. He's my life insurance specialist, 18 years. He's 39. I know I'm old. And he graduated at 18 from high school, 21 to 22 from college. And then he went out to try to find a job and he came back and he's like, can we talk? I'm like, what happened? Did you get a ticket? Like, what happened? He goes, I don't want to do the 8 to 6, go home, have dinner, work out, watch TV. I don't want that life. I want the life that you showed us, which was balance.
Right.
Work out in the morning if you want, work out at night, or don't work out at all that day. And guess what? I have houses in Mexico and I can go there for 5 months. My clients don't even know I'm there because I'm on Zooms and I'm got staff that handles things. And it's a life that I chose to live, which is not your typical 8 to 5 or 8. I mean, I was here at the office last night till 11 at night because I choose to be, not because I have to be.
And I loved Michael, and I forget what season, but he was talking to his friends how he was going to he was going to follow in his mama's footsteps. And they were kind of like, why are you going to do that? And he said, if I can afford to buy a boat just by selling insurance, I'll sell insurance. I was like, that's just as simple as that.
He's just so smart. And so I hired like 10 of his college friends. He graduated University of Colorado Boulder, and I had a call center. I'm like, okay, I'm going to teach you guys this. Dial for dollars. You just dial for dollars. Back in the day, I had to drive around, knock on doors, and do whatever, mailers and all the shit that we had to do when we first started the business. So I'm like, here's a list. Dial for dollars. Whoever says yes, they want to meet with you, have them come in the office, or you meet with them, or do it over the phone. So that lasted like a year. They were doing spitballs and farting and all this shit. I'm like, okay, everybody's fired except my son. So Michael's like, Mom, I really need them all to go so I can concentrate. So I said, on your board in your office, I want you to write down what your minimum goal is to sell policies. So let's say you want to sell 10 policies a month or 20, whatever the number is. So you don't end that month until you do all 10 policies or by the premium. And then if you're short, you've fallen into the next month. So so let's say you wanted to write $5,000 in premium. So one month he wrote 4. He's got to move that 1,000 over. So now he's got to write 6,000 next month. And he said, I never fell behind because I never wanted to roll it over. I mean, he's making he's over 300,000 and he's in Spain right now working remotely. He travels the world. He's loving life.
So he's not married, doesn't have kids, enjoying
living
his life.
He has tried the relationship things and it's gone well until a lot of the girls he's dated have their hand out and they want to be taken care of. And he comes from a mama that works. His sister works. My sister works. We're workers. We just work. We don't look for a handout, right or wrong. We just don't.
But how interesting though, because I think that some men have come to you looking for a handout.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Would you say that?
Of course. Good analysis. And I always thought I can do this because many times men take care of women. Why can't I take care of my man?
I totally agree with you. Nothing wrong with it at all.
Gender specific. It's like whoever can do it, let's just do it and enjoy life together. My current boyfriend, he's 100% independent. I wrote down 18 things that I needed. Independent, entrepreneur, not a 9-to-5er, non-smoker, non-drinker, all that shit. So it worked because I manifested him, but also I wanted to be the one that I didn't think they'd ever leave me because I was a breadwinner. I was taking care of them, and I don't want to be left. I have fear of being alone.
Okay. Is that abandonment issues?
Probably.
Okay.
I just don't like being alone. I want a partner.
You want companionship, but your boyfriend now lives in a different state?
Ish. So that didn't work out for too long. So he moved to Arizona. He's a developer. And last weekend he was home and he's like, I don't think it's going to work. I go, what? He goes, being apart. I don't like it. I'm like, okay. So I had to let him go do it because I wanted to control him and all that. So he's moving back.
I love that.
Because
will he live with you?
He has been, yeah. He has been for 2 years.
I'm happy for you because I feel like your heart is always in the right place. From what I've seen, and when you and I talk, your heart's always in the right place.
Give Them Lala is sponsored by LiveGood. I know a lot of us are taking one kind of supplement or another, and maybe we'd add more to our wellness routine if a lot of these companies weren't charging such a ridiculous price for products that don't seem to be that special. And that's why I want to introduce to you LiveGood, a brand that's turning the supplement industry on its head. LiveGood believes that everyone deserves access to high-quality supplements that won't break their bank. LiveGood offers premium products formulated by their industry-leading team of natural health experts. So LiveGood sent me some supplements to try for free. I got the collagen peptides because collagen helps your skin, your hair, your nails, and also has great benefits for your bones, joints, and muscle health. I think my skin's already showing the benefits. All thanks to the collagen. And it's easy. I just drop a scoop of the collagen into my morning coffee. LiveGood also has organic super greens, multivitamins, weight loss products, protein powder, hormone products, skincare products, and so much more. And everything is super high quality and at prices we can actually afford. Ready to make the switch and start saving? We'll make it even easier for you. Use our link and you can save an additional 10% off your first order on top of the already lowest prices. Just go to livegood.com/Lala to save 10% off your first order. That's livegood.com/Lala. Don't miss out on the opportunity to invest in your health without overspending. These statements and products have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition. Give Them Lala is sponsored by Boll Branch. We all know how important sleep is, and I know a lot of you struggle with that. I actually do too sometimes. But let me share a change I made recently that seems to be helping. I upgraded to Boll Branch 100% organic cotton sheets. They are so incredibly soft and breathable, and I feel instantly cozy and comfortable the second I crawl into bed. I have the signature hemmed sheet set in white, of course, and here's the best part. They get even softer with every wash. But Boll Branch has designs and colors for every bedroom style and mattress size. And they also have great airy bed blankets, cloud-like duvets, and so much more. And you can try Boll Branch sheets for an entire month. Seriously, you can wash, style, and sleep in them for 30 days and feel the difference for yourself, risk-free. If they don't change the way you sleep, you can send them back for a full refund. But trust me, you will not be doing that. You'll love them just as much as I do after the very first night. Now's your chance to change the way you sleep with Boll Branch. Get 15% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com/Lala. That's Boll Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Lala to save 15%. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
If you could talk about from the days of Dawn to let's count the guy you're with now out, and who was the last?
Mike. So it was
Mike.
Brooks and Steve. So Mike is now,
okay.
And Mike was my first husband. So I was married for 30 years. So I was married to Mike for 9 and Don for 20-ish. Don and I would have never gotten divorced if I wasn't on a reality show. I know that to be true. So I love marriage. I love being together. We both went sideways for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Brooks, I wanted to take care of. He was from Mississippi. He had bad teeth. He had stupid clothes. I'm like, come on to California. I'm going to go take you to Bloomingdale's and Nordstrom's and Saks, and we're going to get you all new wardrobe and get out of the cracks.
It was your project.
It was my project. And I had to get him a car and had to do all this shit for him. So I did. I got him a Range Rover. He fit into Orange County very good. And you know how that went. So that didn't work. 5 years of wasted my life. And then I met Steve. I didn't know what a narcissist was until you're with one. And then you go through the therapy and the trauma bonding and all that stuff. So that sucked. He left me for a 35-year-old.
Oh my God.
While he's sleeping
What a
with me,
piece of shit.
he was banging this bimbo school teacher that she met him at a bar. She thought he was rich and famous. He's neither one. He's neither one.
He's neither. So out of those three, Dawn, Brooks, and Steve, who did the biggest number on you and would say like that one was the hardest to recover? Brooks. Okay.
You know, because he claimed he had cancer, and I was supporting him and supporting him and supporting him. And I was going to work every day. And Meghan King Edmonds decided to ask for his medical records. And I don't know what's true or not, but he wasn't going to produce them. And then they said he died of cancer. So I don't know.
How do you feel about Meghan?
I want nothing to do with her.
Okay,
No.
You want nothing to do with her.
So
okay.
She wasn't smart enough to know this is just a reality show. You don't hurt people's lives. But because I'm a fiduciary and because I'm with the National Ethics Bureau, you can't go after me and say I faked cancer because I insure people, right? So what type of ethics do I have if I'm lying to the public saying that my boyfriend has cancer and he doesn't? So it was just an icky thing. And it was a horrible experience. And she wasn't smart enough to say, you know what, this is a TV show and I'm not going to hurt Vicki.
I understand that. Taking Meghan out of it, were there moments behind closed doors that you had with Brooks where you had a feeling you're like, something is fishy? Like, please tell me if this is real or not.
Yeah. And he would say, of course it's real. I'm just not exposing my medical records.
And he would make it make sense. Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? You have that right. You're not getting paid to do this show. You don't have to show me or anybody. Don't do it. If you're not comfortable with it, don't do it. So it made sense to me. And I'm like, I love you. I believe you. Why wouldn't I believe him? Why would somebody ever lie to me about cancer?
Well, about something like that, right? It's almost unfathomable. Do you even know where he is now?
He's in Florida or Mississippi. He got married right away. So did Steve. Married right away. Both of them. Yeah.
Oh my God, you're like Good Luck Chuck. You have sex with them and then they go marry other people.
It's like, oh my God, girl, what are you thinking? So yeah, so there we go.
How do you feel about, did you watch last season of OC?
Not really. I mean, I watch it with my, like, this is boring me. And it's so scripted, typical of what Tamra was going to do the whole season. And I'm just disgusted by her because she at one time was a really good friend of mine. And now she's not. And
I do miss that friendship. I miss the Tres Amigas. I really miss me some Vicki and Tamra.
I know. And Shannon and I are still friends. It's just too bad that she couldn't just be kind.
I
she
understand that.
Blow up stuff and then she wants oh, I'm sorry. I love you. No, you don't. You hurt me. Like, you don't. This is a TV show, girl. Just stay in your lane.
Right.
Stop.
How did you feel about Alexis Bellino? Are you guys friends?
No, she's a bimbo. No.
So beyond. But I was in Palm Springs, Vicki, and my mom told me we're eating at this restaurant downtown Palm Springs. And I see Jim walk by and I say to my mom, Alexis, that's her ex-husband. And she goes, well, he has a restaurant here. And I was like, oh, I wonder what it's called. And I look up at the sign and I'm like, she goes, what's his name? I said, his name's Jim.
Right.
Jim what? Jim Bellino. We're here. Jimmy B's. So he comes up. He was so kind. And he goes, if you don't know me, I'm Alexis Bellino's ex-husband. And I was like, oh, trust me, I know all about it. He goes, wow, what a shit show. She definitely made me look much better, though. So even he had some thoughts. I hope he doesn't get mad that I'm talking like that.
Jim's a good guy. Jim's I've known him loosely. But, he's never done anything wrong to me, and he's a good guy. But I think he still supports Alexis, crazy as that is.
Really?
Well, she's got 3 kids. One's in college. I think 2 are approaching graduation. But it's just the whole thing.
I don't think that Johnny J and Alexis, I don't think it'll last because I think there was a high for them.
They're not going to get married.
They were like bonding over this TV show. Now no one gives a shit. They had their moment last season, but I'm like, it was so embarrassing to watch that whole thing. And Shannon was just like top tier chef's kiss.
No, she did great. I was really proud of her. But, there's the door, Shannon Beador. It's like,
so stupid.
How long did she script that? And then production said, yeah, they did. She did say it in the car. How many times am I going to say that before it sounds right? Like, bimbo. She didn't last, right? She was a friend. She didn't last. She's done.
What's happening with Gretchen?
So I like Gretchen. I'm happy for her. It's bizarre. She hasn't been on for like, I don't know, 9, 10, 11 years. She hasn't been on for longest. A long time.
Does she have an orange, or is she just a friend of?
A friend of. She has a daughter, Skylar, beautiful Skylar. She's been with Slade now like 15 years.
That's wild.
I know, because he dated Lori and Joe when we first started. Slade and I started this season like long time ago. Slade went through the ringer, and Tamra did it to him, and it was humiliating, embarrassing. And I think Gretchen has some paybacks to her. Like, she's going to have an opinion on how really Tamra treated Slade. So we'll see how I think it'll be good.
I mean, they're still together going strong. They're like the Bravo version of Heidi and Spencer Pratt. Like, no one thought it would work. It seemed one way, but it ended up being fabulous.
It did.
My last question for you before I let you go enjoy your day.
I'm going to LA. Are you guys in LA?
We're in LA.
I hate going to LA.
Play.
It's all rainy right now, too.
Well, we're happy to have you here.
Well,
come bring some sun to us.
I'm going to go on Doug Buden's cooking kibitz in a couple hours.
That's going to be so fun.
Yeah.
That'll be a heyday. I have actually 2 questions for you. 3. Would you ever go back to Real Housewives of Orange County?
Of course. With an orange.
With an orange. No friend of business.
No.
You hear that, Bravo?
You don't know what's going on. You don't know we appear at a dinner scene and Tamra's calling Shannon a cunt. I'm like, what just happened? What you just said that? What's going on? It was very difficult for me.
No, I watched it in your face. And you cried. You were like, this is not what we do to each other. You could tell that you were somewhat in a different headspace than when we last saw you.
Yep.
The other question is, what was the best thing to come out of doing Real Housewives of OC?
Meeting you. I just feel the relationships that came from it. And also, I was always very insecure. I didn't like to public speak. I do speeches now all the time for my work, retirement planning seminars. I can go on a TV show. I'm not nervous. I think the confidence that it brings, don't you think? I mean, we can do stuff.
I agree with you. It brought a completely different type of confidence because you almost have to fake it until you make it. Like you said, you dress for success. Yep. That's always kind of what I did when I would be on camera because I was very intimidated by just life and everyone would say you're so confident. I'm like, I am the least confident person on the planet. Yeah. But if I show that, this world will break me down.
Right.
So yeah, I agree with you. It does bring confidence. Is there one thing that you look at and you're like, this was the worst thing to come out of signing up for that show?
My divorce, probably my divorce. I divorced a good guy. And that I regret. And I even told my daughter last night, I was talking to Brianna and she's really close with Don. I said, you know what, if I could do a redo, and this was 12 years ago. And she goes, you still think about it? I said, yeah, because I broke up the family's dynamic, and he wasn't their father because I was married first to Mike, the deadbeat dad. And then Don came in 3 years later, but I still feel the show definitely changed me. It changed us because I was traveling. We never spoke on the phone. He was traveling with work. We were just going 2 different directions. We weren't intimate at all. I was like, what in the hell am I doing here? I'm in my early 50s and I'm miserable.
Yeah.
So I think that that is my biggest regret.
That breaks my heart because I am watching the episodes where you're with Dawn and I really loved you guys together.
Yeah. We weren't good married. We're good people. Like we would do good and then we'd go home and then he'd yell at me about something that I did. I'm like, I didn't say that. He's like, yeah, I didn't yell. I don't like yelling. If you don't
shut down.
I just get like, I walk out the room. I'm like, I can't be yelled at. This is disgusting. I'm, of age. You don't yell at me.
Right.
So then it was starting to get like so much tension all the time. I'm like, fuck.
Are you guys still friends?
Ish. No, I would say he's mad
after you wrote the check and divorced him. You were like, I'm good. He's good.
I know that was not a good day, but I care for him. I wouldn't say we're friends.
Okay. Well, I'm happy that Brianna still talks to him.
Yeah.
That's great. Before I release you, I want to make sure that your kids are good. It sounds like your son is living the dream, but you have 4 grandbabies.
I do. I don't get to see very much. That's the sad part. They're in Oklahoma. She's
still.
They moved out and they're super happy. They got a beautiful farm. They got like 3 sheep, a cow, 18 chickens. They're just living their best life. And she works full time and she's a perfect mom. She's doing great.
Does she have 4 boys?
3 boys and my little Cora girl. She's going to be 3 in a couple of weeks. So,
and I love the name. I'm really happy for you, Vicki. I'm happy that your guy's moving back. I'm happy that the family is well. Whether you're on our TVs in real time, you will always be the most iconic housewife. You're a household name. And I so enjoy going back and watching you. And I'm thrilled you were on the podcast today. Thank you so much for watching another episode of the Give Them Lala podcast. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe. Did I get all 3? I'm getting really good at that.